There comes a time in every person's life when they must walk a path that no one else can walk for them. A path where silence becomes your teacher, solitude becomes your strength, and your own soul becomes your greatest companion. This is where true power is born, in the quiet courage of standing alone. Stoicism teaches us that we don't need anyone to complete us. The Stoics believed that everything we need to live a good and meaningful life is already within us: our reason, our values, and our ability to choose how we respond to life. When you depend on others to feel whole, you give away your power. But when you find peace in your own company, you reclaim it. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." When you learn to walk alone, you begin to hear your own voice more clearly. You stop chasing approval, stop fearing rejection, and start realizing that solitude isn't emptiness, it's strength, focus, and freedom. Walking alone doesn't mean being lonely. It means being complete on your own terms. It means learning that you can face pain without breaking, that you can grow without validation, and that you can love without losing yourself. When you no longer need others to define your worth, you rise above dependence, and that's when you become truly unstoppable. So, take that walk alone, not because you must, but because you can. In solitude, you'll discover the most powerful truth of all, that you were never incomplete to begin with. True strength comes from within. Stoicism teaches that peace and strength are internal, not dependent on others. Real power begins when you trust yourself and stop seeking outside validation. In a world where people constantly seek validation from friends, family, social media, and society, it's easy to forget the timeless truth that Stoicism teaches. Real strength is not found outside of you. It's something you build within yourself quietly, day after day. True strength is not about how many people support you, praise you, or believe in you. It's about how firmly you stand when no one does. It's the inner stability that keeps you calm in chaos, grounded in uncertainty, and peaceful even when life feels unfair. The Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca all believed that a person's true power lies in their mind and their ability to think clearly, choose wisely, and remain steady in the face of adversity. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This means that everything you need to endure, to grow, and to rise is already inside you. The problem is that most people spend their lives searching for strength in others, in relationships, wealth, recognition, or external support. But these things are temporary. The moment they disappear, so does your confidence. True strength is different. It cannot be taken away because it doesn't depend on anything outside yourself. It's built through self-discipline, through facing pain without complaint, and through learning to trust your own judgment even when the world doubts you. When you start focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, your reactions, your choices, you reclaim the power that you've been giving away to circumstances and people. Think of a storm. Most people fear it, but a Stoic learns to stand still in it, knowing that calmness is something they can create from within. The stronger your inner world becomes, the less the outer world can shake you. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. You stop being dependent on outcomes and start finding peace in effort. You no longer seek strength from applause, you find it in silence. When you realize that no one can give you peace or confidence but yourself, something changes. You begin to carry yourself differently. You become resilient, unshakable, and deeply self-assured. You stop chasing approval and start valuing authenticity. You no longer need the world to believe in you, because you already do. This is the essence of Stoicism: to understand that life will test you, people will leave, circumstances will shift, but your inner strength will always remain if you choose to nurture it. And once you build that kind of strength, you stop fearing solitude, failure, or uncertainty, because deep down, you know that everything you need to face the world already lives inside you. That's true power. Solitude is not loneliness. Walking alone doesn't mean isolation. It's a path to clarity and self-understanding. In solitude, you hear your true voice and align with your purpose. Many people fear being alone. They associate solitude with emptiness, silence, and a sense of being unwanted. But Stoicism teaches a different truth. Solitude is not loneliness. It is the space where you rediscover who you are. When you walk alone, you aren't losing anyone. You are finding yourself. The greatest thinkers, warriors, and philosophers throughout history understood the power of solitude because it allows the mind to breathe, reflect, and grow without distraction. Loneliness is the pain of being without others. Solitude is the peace of being with yourself. The difference lies in your mindset. When you fear solitude, it's usually because you haven't yet learned how to enjoy your own company. But once you start embracing stillness, you realize that silence is not empty, it's full of answers. In those quiet moments, your thoughts settle, your emotions calm, and you begin to see life with greater clarity. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, often reminded himself that nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. He ruled an empire, yet he knew that the real kingdom worth mastering was within. In solitude, you confront your true self, your fears, your doubts, your dreams. It can be uncomfortable at first because there's no one to distract you from your own thoughts. But that's exactly where growth happens. Stoicism teaches that by facing your inner world honestly, you strengthen your character. You begin to understand what truly matters to you and what was only noise from the outside world. You start realizing that you don't need constant approval or company to feel complete. You just need to be aligned with your own values. Solitude also teaches self-reliance. When you walk alone, you stop depending on others for motivation or happiness. You begin to draw strength from your own purpose. You become self-sufficient, emotionally independent, and mentally strong. This doesn't mean you reject people or relationships. It simply means you no longer depend on them to define your worth. You learn to enjoy company without clinging to it, and you learn to be alone without feeling lonely. That is true freedom. In our world today, where constant noise surrounds us, solitude has become rare. People fill every quiet moment with distractions, phones, social media, endless conversations, anything to avoid silence. But silence is where wisdom speaks. When you allow yourself time alone, you begin to hear your intuition more clearly. You gain insight into your goals, your habits, and your emotions. You start living deliberately instead of reacting to the world around you. Solitude is not a punishment, it's a gift. It gives you the opportunity to recharge, to think deeply, and to connect with your inner self. It's where creativity flourishes and inner peace is born. The Stoics believed that if you can be content in solitude, you can be content anywhere because your happiness no longer depends on circumstances, but on the calm strength of your own soul. Control lies in your own actions and reactions. You can't control what others do or think, but you can control your response. Independence means mastering your emotions, not letting others dictate your peace. One of the most powerful teachings of Stoicism is the idea that you cannot control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. This truth is simple, yet life-changing. Most people waste their energy trying to change the world, other people, or circumstances that are far beyond their control. They become frustrated, anxious, and defeated because they tie their peace to things they cannot command. But the Stoics remind us that freedom begins when we focus only on what is within our control, our actions, our choices, and our reactions. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic teachers, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." These words hold a deep wisdom. Life will always bring challenges, loss, rejection, unfair treatment, or pain, but your reaction to these experiences determines your inner state. You can either become bitter and broken, or calm and resilient. The choice is always yours. The events of life don't define you. Your attitude toward them does. When you shift your attention from what you can't control to what you can, you take back your power. Instead of blaming others or feeling helpless, you begin to take responsibility for your emotions and actions. You can't control the weather, but you can control your mood. You can't control other people's opinions, but you can control how much importance you give them. You can't control the outcome of every effort, but you can control how much effort you give. This is the essence of inner strength to stay steady and focused no matter how chaotic the world becomes. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. As emperor of Rome, he faced betrayal, war, and disease, yet he never let external events disturb his inner peace. He wrote in his journal, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This mindset allowed him to lead with calmness and wisdom instead of anger or fear. It's a reminder that peace doesn't come from perfect circumstances. It comes from a disciplined mind. Learning to control your reactions doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means understanding them, observing them, and choosing how to act instead of reacting blindly. When something upsets you, take a moment to breathe and ask yourself, is this within my control? If it isn't, let it go. If it is, handle it with reason and dignity. Over time, this practice builds emotional stability. You stop being a victim of life's ups and downs and start becoming the master of your own inner world. When you learn to focus only on your actions and reactions, you become unshakable. Nothing can truly disturb you because you've built your peace on something no one can touch: your own mind. That is the Stoic way, to live calmly, act wisely, and remain free, no matter what the world throws your way. Self-reliance builds unshakable confidence. When you learn to depend on yourself, you become resilient. Challenges no longer break you because you know you have everything within to rise again. Self-reliance is the foundation of true strength. It's the quiet assurance that no matter what happens, you can handle it. It's not arrogance or pride, it's the deep inner trust that you are capable of standing on your own 2 feet. Stoicism teaches that relying on yourself is the path to freedom, because when you depend too much on others for your happiness, your peace becomes fragile. You begin to fear loss, rejection, and change. But when you develop self-reliance, your confidence becomes unshakable, because it's built on something no one can take away: your own character. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." These words remind us that true freedom doesn't come from wealth, status, or connections. It comes from the ability to govern your own mind and emotions. When you rely on yourself, you no longer wait for others to fix your problems or validate your worth. You take responsibility for your own growth. You start becoming the source of your own motivation, your own discipline, and your own peace. That's when you stop being dependent and start being powerful. Self-reliance is built through experience. Every time you face hardship and refuse to give up, you strengthen your faith in yourself. Every time you fail but choose to rise again, you prove that your worth doesn't depend on success or praise, it comes from persistence. The Stoics understood that adversity is not your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. Each challenge forces you to look inward, to find courage, patience, and resilience within. And once you realize that you can rely on yourself to get through anything, fear begins to fade away. When you become self-reliant, you stop chasing external approval. You stop comparing your life to others because you no longer measure your value by outside standards. You live by your own principles, guided by reason and virtue. Marcus Aurelius wrote that it never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own. Self-reliance breaks this pattern. It teaches you to trust your own voice more than the noise of the world. You stop asking, "Will they like me?" and start asking, "Is this right for me?" Confidence doesn't come from perfection, it comes from self-trust. It's knowing that even if you fail, you can rebuild. Even if you fall, you can rise. The Stoics believed that nothing external can truly harm a person who possesses inner strength and self-control. When you master yourself, no loss can break you, no opinion can weaken you, and no challenge can defeat you. Self-reliance doesn't isolate you from others, it enhances your relationships. You stop needing people and start choosing them. You connect out of love, not dependence. And that's the highest form of confidence, to know that you can walk alone, but choose to walk with others because you want to, not because you have to. Wholeness is an inner state, not a relationship you don't need anyone to complete. You are already complete. Stoicism reminds us that happiness and fulfillment come from living in harmony with our own values and nature. Many people go through life believing that they need someone else to complete them: a partner, a friend, a family member, or even social approval. They search for wholeness outside themselves, thinking that love or recognition will fill the emptiness within. But Stoicism teaches a powerful truth: you are already whole, you were born complete. The sense of incompleteness you feel doesn't come from a lack of others, it comes from forgetting who you truly are. The Stoics believed that everything necessary for a good life already exists within you: your reason, your virtue, your ability to choose wisely, and your inner peace. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Dig within. Within is the wellspring of good, and it is always ready to bubble up if you just dig." This means that the strength, wisdom, and peace you seek are not out there in the world, they are buried inside your own soul, waiting to be discovered through reflection and self-awareness. When you depend on others to make you feel whole, you give away your power. You make your happiness fragile, tied to things beyond your control. Relationships are beautiful, but they cannot fill the void within you if you haven't first learned to be at peace with yourself. Stoicism reminds us that true love and connection are only possible when you approach them as a complete person, not as someone seeking to be completed. When you are whole on your own, you bring strength into every relationship instead of dependence. You give love freely instead of clinging to it out of fear. Wholeness comes from living in harmony with your values and nature. It's found in self-respect, honesty, and discipline. It grows when you stop chasing validation and start nurturing your inner world. The more you align your actions with your principles, the more peaceful and centered you become. You start realizing that happiness is not something you receive, it's something you create through your choices. Loneliness fades when you understand this truth. You stop feeling empty when you're alone, because you recognize that solitude is not a sign of lacking, it's a space of strength and clarity. The Stoics taught that we are part of the universe's grand design, connected to everything around us. You are not separate, you are not broken, and you are not missing a piece. You are a complete part of a greater whole capable of reason, love, and purpose. When you accept that wholeness is an inner state, not a relationship, you stop searching and start becoming. You stop trying to fill the void with people, possessions, or distractions. Instead, you learn to be content with yourself, to find peace in simplicity, joy in self-awareness, and strength in independence. That is the Stoic ideal: to be calm, complete, and unwavering no matter what life brings. When you realize that everything you've been seeking already exists within you, you no longer need the world to complete you because you have finally come home to yourself.